All right, you two, we back with another one, man. You already know, man. I'm gonna just go out and say it. If y'all been rocking with me since day one, the early days on this channel, then you already know what my favorite Glock is. Y'all know we don't do that clickbait stuff, so if y'all already reading the title before y'all clicked on the video, then you already know what this video is gonna be about, man. So sorry to tell y'all, but I'm definitely gonna be having this gun a lot more on the channel again. Yeah, we'll be seeing a lot more of it. The 19 next, man. Y'all know I ain't gotta say it. My favorite Glock of all time. So yeah, I took a little break from it. Um, then I decided to put it back on my EDC rotation because I realized I missed it, and I just don't shoot. There's not a gun out there that I've shot better than this gun. I have yet to see a gun out there that I shoot better than my 19X. And I had this gun for quite a while. I decided it was time for a bit of a makeover, so I did send it out to get some slide works done. So I got it back a couple days ago, and I just couldn't wait to get it to the range, man. So I did get it to the range today. Post making this video after my range session because I wanted to break that Cerakoting. A lot of people say that that coating is necessary to go and shoot because you could have some hiccups with your gun. I've seen videos on people having hiccups with like fresh Cerakote jobs. I don't know if it has to do with the finish. I didn't have any hiccups at all today, so let's just put that right out there. The gun performed flawlessly as always. I didn't expect nothing different from it. Just kind of had to get used to shooting it again because, like I said, it had been a few months. As y'all know, I was carrying the echelon, but I had to let that thing go, man. Put that thing back up on the shelf because I realized that even with a comp on it, I wasn't able to shoot the gun as good as this one. And I don't have a ramjet on here. I don't have any ports on here. For me, I don't know if it's because of the bigger grip, but I've shot the regular 19 and the 19X. It's like night and day with the bigger grip, man. That 17 grip, it just makes all of a difference. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I don't necessarily feel like I need ports or a comp on here. I know a lot of y'all, say that the Ramjet reigns supreme, and I've seen a lot of videos on that. Not not hating or anything. I think it does a phenomenal job at making the gun shoot flatter, but I just don't think it's necessary, for me to need that on here, especially if this is my EDC, trying to have the least amount of upgrades as possible as far as internals. You already know the only thing I changed on here is the trigger. Um, the attachments is a whole different thing. But yeah, man. Other than that, you know, still the 19X, pretty much a OEM form. I got a few things done to it, nothing crazy, but like I said, I just wanted to take it to the range. I wanted to go ahead and run some rounds down through it. Like I said, re-break it in, whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to break it back in and just kind of get familiar with it again. So if y'all watched my last video, I told you I was gonna try to run at least 200 or 300 rounds through it. That's normally what I do in sessions now because ammo is a little pricey. But I got too excited today, man, and I ended up running about 600 rounds through this gun. So as y'all can see, it is cooked. Y'all can see the barrel on YouTube. No, I'm not flagging the camera. It's actually pointing that way, away from the camera. But I don't know if y'all can see the lighting is not that good, but my whole carbon buildup all around the barrel, the front of the slide, and just look at my short fire, man. It's cooked. All carbon buildup right there. So yeah, the gun is dirty because I did shoot a lot of rounds through it. That's at least a lot for me. I don't know for y'all, maybe they shoot more. It might seem like it's not a lot. I normally don't even do that many rounds in a session. Probably, like I said, 200 or 300 is average for me. When I go just to train and stuff like that in a typical range session. But like I said, I got excited today. This was the only handgun that I brought with me to the range anyway. So I said, you know what, I might as well just go ahead and let it rip. But yeah, I felt like the 600 rounds was flawless. It was great. Cycled everything I put through it. I ran even some remanufactured ammo, Ammo Inc. Um, there was another type of brand that I ran, some alt brand stuff. And then I ran some AAC ammo, 147 grain. I ran about 50 rounds of that. Ran about um, the rest was all 124 grain AAC ammo and some jacketed hollow points from AAC, 124 grain, and even some 115 grain blazer. So between the 600 rounds, it was a little bit of mixed ammo, which I always like to do because I challenge this gun. I've shot in steel case through this gun. I've shot in aluminum case. A lot of people say it's not good to shoot it through your guns because it can mess it up and it gets dirty faster. But I like to test it out, and Glocks are notorious to eat any type of ammunition you put through them. And this one never disappoints. No matter what type of ammo I've put through here, it's never had a jam on me. I've never had a hiccup with this gun. So I'm proud to say that, the gun performed flawlessly. But come on, man, are you really surprised? I mean, it's a Glock. That's what they made to do, right? They made to run, and the gun performs flawlessly. And even with the trigger, it's great. I mean, I got so used to shooting the GPT that even when I shoot the OEM trigger now, it does feel a little on the heavier side. That doesn't mean I hate it. I still have Glock. I still have my Glock, my other Glock with the stock trigger on it, and I do not plan on changing that. I just figured I wanted something a little bit more something with a little bit more of a clean break. And yeah, this is not the lightest trigger in the world. It's not a 1 or 2 pound trigger. I don't need that, especially not for something that I'm EDCing in between, my legs. Like that's not something that I want to do. This one I think it breaks at around. It's advertised at like 3.5 to 4 pounds, I believe. I couldn't even tell you. I don't have a trigger meter. I don't do that. I just go off what the break is, and there you go. Now at the end of the day, um, you know, I'm also still trying to get better with my red dot optics, as far as sighting them in and getting used to shooting with them. And I feel like I did pretty good today. This Hollison was just a 507 comp. I had this on my echelon, and when I got rid of it, I basically just threw this on here. When I sent it with the slide to get mounted right on there, and it just sits well with it. With the height sights on it, I'm not really the biggest fan of height sights, but it does cool witness well with them. Doesn't block my window radius. I mean, even if you can see right here, I don't know if you could tell right there, but it cold witnesses perfectly. And at the end of the day, they're blacked out sites. That works for me. I didn't want to get any tritium or anything like that. Y'all watched my last video. I already showed that, but just kind of showing you how a cold witness is just right. It doesn't block. It doesn't really block the window. Doesn't get in the way of your sight picture on the window. So you don't have to worry about that. The sights are not that tall. They look taller probably from the side, but when you're actually aiming down range, they're not bad at all. They don't obstruct none of the view on the window. So I do like that. But I mean, the dot itself, it's accurate. I mean, I've done some minor adjustments when I had it on the echelon. When I sent it out, I didn't adjust anything. Since I got it back, I didn't adjust anything. I've left it the day I had it since day one. And I know they say when you take it off and put it back on, or I think that's with the battery. I think when you swap the batteries out, you have to re-zero it. But I'm not a professional, man. I'm not. This is probably not even zeroed in as on point as some may have it. Some professionals they actually, shoot all the time and have the time to do that. You know what I mean? You got to really put rounds through this thing if you want to get it sighted in. So for me, I feel like when I was shooting at the range today, it was great, and I feel like for the most part, you know, it was on point. Like wherever I was pointing at, it was shooting in that direction. It might have been off, an inch or two, if that. I could be wrong because I was shooting about. Normally, when I go to the range, I shoot about 5 to 7 yards. So that's like my average training. As far as like distance wise, that's my average training. That I do distance wise about 5 to 7 yards. If I'm gonna put it out far, it's only because I just want to see how far I can hit with it. But we all know in reality we train for self defense situations, and you're not gonna get into a gun battle with someone who's 25 yards away. If that's the case, I'm running for cover. I'm not shooting at someone 25 yards away because you're probably gonna end up going to jail anyway. So for those of you who say that's not accurate or that's not good enough, listen. I train for reality, not for fiction. Your chances of getting into a close encounter is far better than your chances of getting into an encounter with someone who's halfway down the road or somewhere. You know what I mean? So that's why I do that. And at the end of the day, the dot was working perfectly for me at that distance. I didn't have any issues. Like I said, for the most part, where I pointed at, the dot was fine. And I did a little bit of draws from the hip. See, I did a few double taps, and that was kind of just more just sight picture, boom, 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 boom. I'm not really taking the time to look at the dot as I'm shooting. I'm kind of just presenting the gun to me, to my sight picture, tap, 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 tap. I'm not actually really looking for the dot. Like as long as I can see it, somewhere in there as I'm pulling the trigger and I'm firing, as long as I can see where the dot is going, that allows me to kind of move around on the target to kind of see where it's going. And that's kind of been working for me. Like I said, I'm not a professional, so don't take my advice. that's just the techniques that I'm using to kind of get better with the dots because I really want to get as good as I am with my regular sights, iron sights, plastic sights. I want to get that good with the dot. Like I want to be able to just draw from the hip and just present the dot right there. I do it at home. As you can see, I got the target behind me. Um, I try to do it at home when I can. Draw from the hip, dry fires and things like that, and try to just bring the dot to me. It's still a little hard. It still could be a little difficult at times trying to bring the dot to you immediately, like to find it. Sometimes I might bring it up and it's not there, and I might have to dip down a little bit or move it around. But from what I've been seeing online, a lot of people who shoot professionally say that you shouldn't have to adjust your view. You know what I mean? Bring the window up to you and bring the dot to you. So like if I bring it up like this and the dot's not there, I shouldn't have to dip my head down. Basically, when I bring the pistol up and I present it to me, I should be able to see it. And if I don't, then that means I need to adjust my pistol. Not the angle of how I'm looking or dipping down on dipping my head down trying to find it. Because at the end of the day, when you shoot, you want to have as less the least movement as possible. At least for me, I try to have the least amount of movement as possible because any little movement will throw your aim off. And then when you go to shoot, you're gonna wonder why you're shooting low to the left or low to the right. So those are kind of the techniques that help me. So I also did a little bit of that. I didn't just go to the range today to recycle the gun. With a fresh couple hundred rounds. I also went to kind of like I said, train with the dot and just get better with it. I wasn't worried about if the gun was gonna work or not. Like I said, man, it's a Glock. Y'all should already know. And like I said, a 19X is a great gun, man. For anybody looking for something in between of a full size and a compact, this is the best it's gonna get for you. Especially if you're looking into a Glock. This gun is weird because it gets a lot of love, but it also gets a lot of negative feedback. I wouldn't necessarily say hate, but a lot of people find this gun pointless. That it wasn't something that should have even been made. But in my opinion, I think this is Glock's best gun, and I'm just gonna go out there and say that. That's an opinionated fact. If you don't feel that way, that's fine, because I know a lot of y'all have your own opinions, and I'm okay with that. It's not gonna hurt my feelings if you say you hate this gun. It works for me, and that's all that matters. The same way, you might have your opinion on a gun that you think is your favorite gun, and something that you like to EDC every day. This is my choice, and I've tried out a lot of different guns, so I'm not being biased or anything like that. I've tried out a lot of different guns, and for me, I just always come back to the Glock because it just works for me, and I've shot this gun the most. So that's just what it is. Like I said, everybody has their own opinions, and that's okay when it comes to Glock or any other. But like I said, man, you know what I mean? The Glock just works for me, and at the end of the day, you know, I don't need a million handguns, to have a super big EDC rotation. Will I add more guns? Yeah, probably. But not right now. I haven't even bought any guns at all this year. Not one. I actually got rid of more guns than anything, and I just trying to make way for the guns that I really like, that I want to train with and get better with, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of focus more on the guns that I want to get better with and focus with. And if I decide to add anything else to the channel, you guys will be the first to know when I get my hands on it. But as of right now, I'm not really looking for anything. There's probably a few guns that I will eventually add to the channel, just not at the moment. I'm more focused on buying ammunition and just getting even better, with the guns that I have. Because if you don't train, then you can have a million guns and not be able to shoot any one of them. And for me, I feel like the 19X, I needed a little bit more time with it because I've had time with the gun, but at the end of the day, I feel like I need more time with it. You know what I mean? Because I had this gun for a long time, and a lot of times I would take it to the range and I would end up just shooting with other guns as well as this one. So I'm not getting enough one-on-one time with this gun. When you just take one or two guns to the range max, it's a lot easier for you to focus on just those guns and shoot with them. So today, all my eyes was on this one for the most part. I took other guns with me today. I took two other guns with me today, but the center of the focus was this gun. So I had time, more than enough time to train with it. And like I said, it did right. It did right by me as always. Didn't disappoint, man. 19X, like, come on, man. Don't get no better than that, man. Like, it just the Glock is just a pointable gun, man. It's a pointable handgun by nature. You know what I mean? It's like it just feels natural when you point it. You don't have to really do too much. Just point and shoot, point and shoot. And YouTube, we're not promoting the sales of any guns, man. I just figured I'd throw that disclaimer out there because normally I do that in the beginning of the video. But yeah, small disclaimer, man. We don't promote no sales on this channel. The sales of any firearms, I don't have anything for sale on my channel. So I got to get that out the way, y'all, before I end the video, because I don't want YouTube flagging me or, giving me the yellow watermark. I don't want that. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I ain't gonna take up too much more of your time. Just wanted to let y'all know that the 19X is back in full effect, and like I said, y'all will be seeing a lot more content with this thing, man, because I don't really have too much other stuff to shoot anyway. So my main focus will be this, just trying to get better with it, put some more rounds through it. Like I said, 600 rounds today, man. So we're approaching 5,000 rounds on this gun, and I had this gun for about, like I said, about almost 4 years now. So we getting there. Like I said, 5,000 rounds, almost no malfunctions. Like, I don't get much better than that, man. I haven't replaced anything on the gun, so only time will tell. If I decide to break something on it, then at least I know it can go a couple thousand rounds, before you have to even replace something. But I've heard people going 50,000 rounds with stock internals, and even more than that. But that's impressive because I don't even know if I ever make it to 50,000 rounds with this gun. I'm not a professional shooter. I'm not an instructor. I don't do competitions, so who knows if I will ever even make it that far. But yeah, man, I'm gonna end the video here, man. You already know, man. If y'all want to tap in with me, just hit up the comment section. Otherwise, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If y'all can like the video, share the video, all of that, is all much appreciated. So catch you on the next one, man. Until next time, y'all be safe out there, man.